No sign of 009.
We need to inform M.
No time. I'm going after him. Make him call off the attack.
Are you out of your mind?
I'll be careful. He binned the phone.
Go to the security room, first floor.
And you are?
Rob Minkley.
He's with me.
Come on, Moneypenny. If I lose the trail, we'll never know who they're working for. Oi, you lads got a faulty coffee machine?
I hope I'm not interrupting anything.
You're not, Damien Mead.
Bond. James Bond.
If 009 slips through our fingers, we're the last line of defense.
Someone just tried to kill me.
Tell me you caught him.
Any sage advice?
Play nice.
Always.
IO Interactive, the studio behind Hitman, is bringing Bond back with 007 First Light, an all-new origin story. You step into the shoes of a 26-year-old James Bond, fresh from the Royal Navy and just starting his life inside MI6. The story sends you across the globe chasing a rogue agent 009, from icy mountain peaks to sunlit beaches, and even through a sprawling French chateau built for espionage. Gameplay mixes stealth and style, with gadgets and freedom of choice. That laser watch, smoke bombs, and even smooth dialogue can be as effective as pulling a gun. But when things heat up, you've got rocket-powered dirt bikes, Aston Martin chases, and mid-air shootouts that feel straight out of the films. IO says some missions here are the biggest they've ever designed, and the license to kill mechanic makes combat more deliberate. You only go lethal when pushed to it. Bond is voiced and motion captured by Patrick Gibson, joined by new takes on M, Q, and Moneypenny, plus fresh faces like Mentor Greenway. It's not tied to the movies, giving the series a clean slate to tell its own story. 007 First Light launches March 27th, 2026 on PS5, Xbox Series X&S, Switch 2, and PC.
Our gods have forsaken us for fear of the coming darkness consumes all but you, lamp bearer. Something stirs within you. Something ancient, powerful, hungry. So I ask you, will you harness this darkness within and deliver unto our so-called lords retribution? But should you fall, the world falls
CI Games is pushing deeper into dark fantasy with Lords of the Fallen 2, the follow-up to the 2023 reboot. The story jumps a century forward, pulling you back into Mornstead and its twisted connection to the Umbral realm. That parallel dimension still lingers as both a blessing and a curse. Step into it for power and opportunity, but every move there comes with danger as the dead close in. Combat has been reworked to feel faster, sharper, and more brutal than ever. Dodges, parries, and executions hit harder, while bosses are designed to be bigger set pieces that push you to the edge. The Umbral mechanic returns as a core system, doubling down on risk and reward. This is still a punishing Souls-like, but the studio has promised a smoother experience, built on lessons from over 50 major updates to the last game, including full shared progression co-op. Behind the scenes, the creative team has shifted, with new directors taking the helm and describing the sequel as bolder, braver, and bloodier. The tone leans into gothic horror and epic scale, aiming to turn past criticism into fuel for something more refined. Lords of the Fallen 2 is set to release in 2026 for PS5, Xbox Series X&S, and PC through the Epic Games Store.
You think you're the Harbinger. You might be.
Cold Symmetry is back with Mortal Shell 2, and this time the scope feels bigger and nastier than before. The sequel builds on the core idea of inhabiting shells, but throws you into a darker, more open world packed with over 60 dungeons to conquer. It's still a bleak Souls-like at heart, but the combat has been turned up. Melee feels faster and heavier, and now you've got new ranged options like machine gun crossbows and shotgun-style weapons that change how fights play out. The enemies are grotesque, the bosses towering and cruel, and every encounter looks designed to test patience and skill. Exploration is more rewarding, with interconnected areas that push you deeper into this grim fantasy setting. The whole thing carries a heavy metal vibe, from the aesthetic to the soundtrack, giving the game a brutal personality that separates it from other Souls-likes. The developers call it a dark power fantasy, and it shows. Every victory looks earned, every failure punishing, but the world itself pulls you back in, and for the first time, players can sign up for an open beta to test the systems before launch. Mortal Shell 2 is set to release in 2026 on PS5, Xbox Series X&S, and PC through Steam. Tarsier Studios, the team behind Little Nightmares, is diving even deeper into horror with their new project, Reanimal. This time, you play as a brother and sister, exploring a nightmarish version of their island home in search of missing friends. The setup is simple, but the world feels twisted. Mutated creatures lurk in the shadows, puzzles block your path, and every escape feels razor thin. The game leans on that same cinematic platformer DNA, but takes it darker. A shared, fixed camera follows both characters, keeping the tension high and the spaces claustrophobic. You'll sneak, solve, and survive across fragmented environments, traveling by boat to uncover hidden areas off the main path. Exploration matters, because every location is drenched in environmental storytelling and quiet dread. Combat isn't the focus. This is about fear, stealth, and staying one step ahead of the nightmare chasing you. Tarsier describes it as more terrifying than Little Nightmares, with co-op potential and a grim tone that makes each encounter heavier. Reanimal launches in the first quarter of 2026 for PS5, Xbox Series X&S, Switch 2, and PC.
Grace.
What is this? Hey!
Stay close. They're coming.
I know now that you're the one that I've been searching for. The special one. The chosen one. Miss Ashcroft.
Investigating all these strange deaths, huh?
We need to keep our voices down.
Have you seen the same shit I've seen?
Please know that you are my hope.
Everyone's gone.
Stay away from that!
Capcom is taking the series back to its roots with Resident Evil 9 Requiem. Set 30 years after the fall of Raccoon City, the story follows Grace Ashcroft, a young FBI analyst and daughter of Outbreak's Alyssa Ashcroft, as she's pulled into a case that drags her straight into the city's haunting ruins. It's a mix of legacy and tragedy, with the weight of the franchise's past tying into Grace's own struggle to survive. Gameplay feels like a modernized return to survival horror. You can switch seamlessly between first person and third person, giving you freedom to play tense encounters the way you want. Puzzles, scarce resources, and that constant sense of dread define the flow, while a relentless stalker-type enemy keeps the pressure on. Lighting itself becomes a mechanic. Your flashlight and lighter aren't just tools, they're risks, and every flicker of shadow feels like danger closing in. Powered by the RE engine, the city looks scarred yet alive, with iconic landmarks rebuilt and destroyed at the same time. The atmosphere leans heavily on fear, but also on reflection, honoring the series' 30-year legacy with a darker, more personal story. Resident Evil 9 Requiem launches February 27th, 2026 on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. S-Game is swinging hard with Phantom Blade Zero, a kung fu-inspired action RPG drenched in steampunk and dark fantasy. You play as Soul, an elite assassin betrayed and left for dead, surviving only thanks to a mystical cure that leaves him with just 66 days to live. That ticking clock drives the story as you cut through conspiracies in a world called the Phantom World, part Ming-era China, part nightmare. The combat is the real showcase. It's fast, cinematic, and brutal, with wall runs, teleport slashes, and finishers that look straight out of a kung fu film. You've got weapons with their own styles, parries that open into stylish counters, and a ghost step mechanic that rewards perfect timing with flashy evasions. It's built to feel dramatic without losing that Souls-like edge, giving you freedom to master different techniques instead of just grinding through difficulty. The world itself is semi-open, interconnected, and designed with branching paths and multiple endings. You can take different approaches, explore side routes, and even push into an extreme difficulty mode if you want the extra challenge. All of it's powered by Unreal Engine 5, which means every strike, every shadow, and every arena drips with atmosphere. Phantom Blade Zero is set to launch in fall 2026 on PS5 and PC.
Monsters have always been here, watching from the shadows. And when we were at our weakest, they came out into the light. We feared for our lives, but we should have feared for our souls instead. The vampires didn't come to kill us. No, they came to rule. To turn us into mindless, docile cattle. Not me, though. They tried to change me into one of them. But I became something else instead. Their worst nightmare. Trapped between the two worlds, fighting to even the score, fighting to understand the evil behind it all.
He is out there watching, seeping into you.
Rebel Wolves, a studio led by ex-Witcher developers, is stepping into vampire lore with The Blood of Dawnwalker. You play as Cohen, a half-human, half-vampire caught in the Gothic kingdom of Vale Sangora, where an ancient tyrant enforces a brutal blood tax. The hook is brutal. You've got just 30 in-game days to save your family, and every choice you make shapes what that journey looks like. You can align with rebels, explore the world at your pace, or even rush straight to the final boss if you're willing to face near impossible odds. The game splits your existence between day and night. By day, Cohen is human, bound by fragility, but able to navigate social ties and politics. By night, his vampiric powers emerge, turning him into a predator with abilities that reshape combat and exploration. Built in Unreal Engine 5, the world is massive and detailed. Forests, swamps, ruined castles, villages, all tied together in a sandbox design where quests are non-linear and time only advances when you push the story forward. It's gothic, it's moral, and it's meant to feel alive, carrying the DNA of The Witcher, but carved into something darker. This is only the first chapter of a planned saga, so the weight of your decisions may echo long after this story ends. The Blood of Dawnwalker releases in 2026 for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC.
Fallen samurai.
To think something like this was right under the city. What fearsome power! Be careful!
Oh, righteous! And after everything you and your awful kind put him through, too. Were you feeling left out? Here, let me show you something to cheer you up.
this lightning.
I don't have time for these stupid games!
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. Anyway, do enjoy.
Capcom is bringing Onimusha back with Way of the Sword, the first new mainline entry in almost 2 decades. You step into the role of Miyamoto Musashi, modeled after Toshiro Mifune, as he battles the Genma demons in a twisted, dark fantasy version of Edo-era Kyoto. The story is cinematic, grounded in samurai myth, but twisted by supernatural corruption and folklore. Combat is the core focus, and it's built to feel deliberate and weighty. Every katana swing carries impact, with parries and deflections letting you redirect enemy strikes or send arrows flying back at your foes. Break Isin finishers return, delivering brutal, soul-draining kills through the Oni Gauntlet, which also grants buffs and special vision to track threats around you. It's not about endless combos or flashy stamina systems. It's about precision, timing, and reading your opponent. The game runs in Capcom's RE engine, delivering atmospheric detail across temples, forests, and cursed ruins. It's a tighter, more focused experience, around 20 hours long, meant to feel cinematic from start to finish. With its mix of historical authenticity and dark fantasy, Way of the Sword channels the PS2 classics while carving out something bold for a modern audience. Onimusha Way of the Sword is set to release in 2026 for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC.
What you doing up there?
I'm just fixing some leaks.
Seriously, dude, you got some time on your hands. I got some properties with paying tenants.
Well, that's why you came by?
Just go get me my checks.
See you, Brian. Love you, Jason. I'm here for Lucia Caminos. She's supposed to be getting out.
What's your name?
Jason Duval.
I seen you here before.
You might have.
Rockstar is finally delivering Grand Theft Auto 6, and it's set to be the biggest launch the series has ever seen. The game takes us back to Vice City and the larger state of Leonida, a Florida-inspired sprawl packed with neon skylines, swamp towns, and wild highways stretching across the map. This time, you'll switch between 2 protagonists, Lucia, the franchise's first female lead, and Jason, a former soldier turned criminal partner. Their story plays out like a modern-day Bonnie and Clyde, navigating loyalty, chaos, and the rising criminal empire around them. The world feels alive in a way only Rockstar can pull off. Expect a sharper wanted system with smarter police AI, stealth tools to stay off the radar, and new mechanics that tie into Leonida's culture of influencers, online stunts, and viral chaos. Vice City itself pulses with energy, clubs, beaches, and backstreets, but the wilderness and smaller towns add just as much personality to the map. Powered by Rockstar's latest tech, everything from lighting to character animations looks cinematic. It's the kind of detail that makes even a casual drive feel like a scene. The anticipation is massive, and the game is already projected to break records before launch. Grand Theft Auto 6 drops May 26th, 2026 on PS5 and Xbox Series X and S, with a PC release expected later. Pearl Abyss, the team behind Black Desert, is bringing us Crimson Desert, a single-player open-world RPG that feels bigger and bolder than anything they've done before. You play as Cliff McDuff, a mercenary leader caught in the power vacuum of Pywell, a continent torn apart after its king falls into a coma. It's a brutal, medieval world where rival factions clash, mercenaries scheme, and survival feels like a constant fight. The gameplay throws you into explosive action. Sword combat is heavy and cinematic, with brutal clashes against human enemies and towering bosses. You can ride into battle on horseback, pull off archery shots mid-gallop, or scale castles with grappling hooks. Exploration matters too. Cooking, fishing, and trading all weave into the experience, alongside alchemy and gear upgrades that make Pywell feel like a living, breathing world. Visually, it's powered by Pearl Abyss's Black Space engine, and the detail stands out. Snowfields, bustling markets, desert dunes, and ruined fortresses all dripping with atmosphere. It's not just about freedom, it's about spectacle. Giant set pieces, chaotic battles, and moments that look pulled from a fantasy film. Crimson Desert is now set to launch in the first quarter of 2026 for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X&S, PC, and even macOS.